People who grew up broke but married into insanely rich families. What shocked you the most? When I married my wife, Alina, I thought her family was just comfortable. The first time I went to her parents' house for Thanksgiving, I realized I had stepped into a completely different universe. Their driveway looked like a hotel parking lot. Everyone wore clothes without logos, because apparently when people get rich enough, they stop needing to prove it. I remember standing there in the kitchen, holding a paper plate, while her uncles argued over which ski house had the better wine cellar, like it was a normal conversation. But the weirdest part wasn't the money. It was how everybody acted around Alina's grandmother, Celeste. The second she entered a room, conversations changed. People laughed harder at her jokes. Her sons suddenly offered to refill her drink before she even touched the glass. One cousin spent 20 minutes showing her photos of a business he clearly didn't care about just because he wanted her approval. It honestly reminded me of employees trying to impress a CEO before layoffs. I found out later Celeste owned most of the family's company and was worth more money than I could even process in my head. Meanwhile, I spent most holidays sitting on the floor building Lego sets with the younger kids because they looked bored out of their minds. Half the adults barely even noticed their own children unless someone was taking pictures. One night after Christmas dinner, I walked into the backyard to get some air and found Celeste sitting alone on a bench behind the garden. She asked why I always disappeared during family parties. I told her the truth. I said, honestly, I grew up eating noodles 3 nights a week. I still can't tell when rich people are pretending to enjoy themselves. She laughed so hard she nearly spilled her drink. After that, every time there was a family event, she'd randomly sit next to me for an hour or two. Sometimes we talked about sports, sometimes about old jobs I worked growing up. Sometimes she just complained about her relatives treating her like an ATM with a heartbeat. One afternoon, she asked what my parents did for work. I told her my dad drove trucks until his back gave out, and my mom cleaned motel rooms for almost 20 years. She got quiet after that. A couple weeks later, Alina got a call from her mother saying Celeste wanted the whole family at her estate for Sunday dinner. Apparently, it was important. The second we got there, everybody was acting nervous. One uncle kept disappearing outside to rehearse something on his phone. Another cousin brought Celeste some ridiculously expensive watch as a surprise gift, even though it still had the price tag hidden under the box flap. Dinner felt fake from the start. Every single person was trying to position themselves closest to Celeste. People interrupted each other constantly. Her oldest son gave this long emotional speech about protecting the family legacy that sounded rehearsed in a mirror. Meanwhile, Celeste barely touched her food. About halfway through dinner, she suddenly asked me what I thought of the family. The entire table went silent. I remember Alina squeezing my leg under the table because she thought I was about to accidentally ruin everything. But I was tired of the performance by that point, so I shrugged and said, honestly, I think most people here love your money more than they love you. You could have heard a fork hit the floor from across the house. One cousin actually muttered,